So আমি যেটা বলছিলাম teaching versus preaching. Preaching is more like indoctrination. Teaching is about education. Teaching has 3 steps. And it starts with preaching,
so
which is
part 2. What is the third one?
Because you just started recording, so I'm going over from the whole thing. So feed up, feedback, feed forward. Feedback is the formative assessment, I just talked about it. And feed forward is letting students know where do you go from there. So let's say a student got a B minus. A student got a B minus, right? So that's the feedback you got from the student. Your job is not only to give them a B minus, but also tell them how can they get an A. That's called feed forward. That means where do we go from where you are. That part, a lot of time, that's missing from our teaching. Okay, so that's why a lot of time teachers think teaching is like preaching. তাই না অথবা আমার পিএইচডি আছে কাজে আমি দুনিয়ার সব নলেজ আমার মাথায় আছে না doesn't matter তোমার মাথায় যত নলেজই থাকুক তোমার স্টুডেন্টরা যদি if you are not able to transfer your knowledge from here to there no use of your PhD.
স্যার ওই কথাটা খুব মনে হলো যে থার্ড পয়েন্ট আছে
feed forward is giving the direction from where they are to where they should be going. So a student, let's say you got the feedback from the student, so you gave somebody a B minus, somebody a B, on the basis of what? The feedback you got from the student. Now your job is to tell them you got a B minus, but if you did the following, if your syntax were done right, your semantics were done right, your conclusion was a little bit more logical, right? You missed those things, that's why you got a B minus rather than an A. In other words, students now know as to where to go from B minus, how to go from B minus to an A. What's the direction? That direction has to be given. That's called feed forward. It's not a term where you're going to ordinarily see people use. People don't even use it in, I don't think Bangladesh anybody uses that. So there we use this because out of those 3 steps, most people use the first one, feed up, lecture and then leave. Second one, some of them do it like quizzes, small quizzes, weekly quizzes, interim assessment. Some people do it, not everybody. ওরা বসে থাকে সেমিস্টার শেষে একটা পরীক্ষা আসবে তখন কি
স্যার আমাদের তো অ্যাসেসমেন্ট সিস্টেমটা এখন হচ্ছে যে সামেটিভ নট ফরমেটিভ
see that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. So there are 4 types of assessments: diagnostic assessment, formative assessment, interim assessment, and summative assessment. Diagnostic assessment is the one in which you figure out as to where the students are. If somebody asks you, how can I go to Dhaka? Then you're going to ask that person, where are you now? Oh, I'm in Cox's Bazar. Okay, so you have to take a train from Cox's Bazar to Chittagong and then from Chittagong to Dhaka. But if you say I'm in Chittagong, then you're going to...
Job interviews are diagnostic assessment.
What is it?
Job assessment. Job interviews and examination.
Not exactly. Okay. You can call it placement test instead. Diagnostic assessment like a placement test. Okay? Right. So let's say you have...
What does it mean by diagnosis?
Yeah, thank you. It's like when the patient comes to the doctor, they do the diagnosis first. তোমার ওষুধটা কি আগে জানতে হবে তারপরে তুমি ওষুধ দিবে স্টুডেন্টরা যখন তোমার কাছে আসবে কেউ থাকবে এই লেভেলে কেউ এই লেভেলে কেউ ওই লেভেলে there are some outliers in every class. There are some outstanding students. So one size does not fit all. তুমি the same instruction সবাইকে দাও, those people are going to be bored and these people are not going to get anything. They are going to be bored. People that are here, they are going to get it. So that means you're going to lose 50% or 40% or 30% of the people. My point is, how can you engage all 100% of your students in the process of instruction? Okay, so that's why you need to do the diagnostic.
We are talking about
I know.
System. Diagnostic.
Diagnostic assessment, yes.
Then
Second one is formative assessment, which is every segment of your teaching, 15 minutes of your teaching,
assessment for learning.
Do some question answer. Yeah, assessment for learning, yes. Assessment of is summative, assessment for is formative. You know the distinction.
Yeah.
So, After 15 minutes, you can do question answer. You can do teacher-led question answer. You can also do student-led question answer. How?
Students will question and they will answer.
Exactly how. So you ask a student a question, and then the student may have another question for the teacher. Then you ask somebody else, Zulkarnain, do you have an answer to that question? You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you involve everybody. Why? Because when the students are not even engaged in learning, just busy time, they are not going to be learning. Some students are going to be there, as I said, you are not able to reach them. Why? Because they are there. Some are there, but you are teaching at this level. So if you teach at this level, you're going to miss the bottom ones, you're going to miss the top ones. That's the diagnostic assessment is going to tell you as to who needs information on Venn diagram, who needs information on categorical solution, who needs information on existential fallacy, who needs information on informal fallacies.
So, sir, are you telling about that in one single class we have to practice all these sorts of assessment?
Yes, diagnostic assessment is, look, first of all, let's say you are teaching comparative religion. Like I teach one class, 3 religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, all semester long, 3 credit undergraduate course. So in your class, what are you going to do? You're going to first find out from them, you give them a diagnostic assessment, finding out how much do you know about Islam, how much do you know about Judaism, how much do you know about Christianity. Ask all of them the question about what are the basic beliefs in those systems, just to find out as to where they are.
What they are.
See what I'm saying?
Which student is,
exactly.
Which one is mediocre.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. So once you find out, you can do a mixed abilities grouping. Somebody knows the system of belief, somebody does not. Put them together. It's called peer teaching. Peer teaching, you heard about that. You know, teaching, we always think that teaching is only my, no, it's not just my responsibility, it's our responsibility. So sometimes shift that responsibility onto the students, put them in a cooperative learning group or small mixed abilities group. So some are extremely up there, some are here, some are there. When you put them together, they're going to learn from each other too. And then they're going to be more engaged. When do we lose our students? When we do all lecturing in the classroom. And a lot of times professors do just that. And that's the worst way of teaching people, which is lecturing.
Only lecturing.
Exactly. Onyx students, they're shy. They don't ask a question. They have questions, but they don't ask it. Why? Because they think, what if it's a stupid question? People are going to laugh at me, right? Some people don't even know what to ask. So if you put them in small groups, they're not going to shy away. Because they're your classmate. Yes, yeah. Hey, Muzammil, amake etate help koro. Zulkarnain, amake etate help koro. Manu saheb, amake help. They are going to be more comfortable. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. It's called mixed abilities grouping. Since groupings can be done in many different ways. One is think, pair, share. So let's say we are talking about do now. As soon as they come to the classroom, you have to have something posted on the smart board. So as soon as they come in, they're going to see what am I supposed to do. Students will not have a second to waste. Do now, do now. That's what it means. As soon as you come in, start working on it. So then you give them time, 3 to 4 minutes. Do now, 3 to 4 minutes. So you say 3.5 minutes, whatever, you post it there. After 3.5 minutes, this is our time. So I tell them what our time means. I said, my time, your time, our time. So my time is when I lecture, which is going to be a small lecture burst, 2 minutes here, 30 seconds there, and so forth. I never lecture for 90 minutes, no. So lecture burst, and then we put them in think, pair, share situation, sometimes just 2 people together, and then switch one person from that group, put them with that group, and so forth, right? Switch back and forth, like puzzle piece. That's how you're going to make the mixed abilities group people all activating their brain. I always tell them that, look, don't rest your brain for future use. Use it now And then in the future, you're going to be able to use it even better because it's going to get sharper and sharper and sharper.
Neuroplasticity, sir.
Exactly, that's cognitive psychology right there.
See? The more you use, the better.
Exactly, anything. Like a sharp knife, যদি তুমি মাটিতে ফেলে রাখো মোর্চা ধরবে. You keep using it, it's going to sharpen it up.
Exercise is a matter of exercise.
Exactly, yeah. And there also people talk about how practice makes perfect and so forth. But only when you learn from the mistakes you made. Because people sometimes say that, you know, that experience is a good teacher only when you learn from it.
Sir,
diagnostic assessment, and then you come to, okay, so after,
and then third.
Right, so yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that you're bringing it up to the point. Yes, so diagnostic assessment, then you do feed up. Feed up according to the level of where they are. Do you need mixed abilities grouping? Do you need think, pair, share? Do you need cooperative learning? Do you need fishbowl? All those strategies are there.
What is fishbowl?
Okay, fishbowl is, oh, that's interesting. Fishbowl is, you're going to have a discussion group, right, so circling around, and people are going to, from outside, they're going to take note. So, like, they're in a bowl, okay, so they're all discussing, you take notes. You don't say anything. After they finish, and then you tell them as to how you understood what they said, and then you can ask the group as to what they really meant, because your understanding and their meaning to understand could be different, right? So when you do that, when you have that
in this system, the teacher will be attached with some group.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, exactly.
And you'll be watching and listening and
Thank you. As a matter of fact, you will be part of the group.
But you will be silent.
Yes, exactly. And you take notes too. You're going to be like other silent people. And then you're going to take part in asking questions or giving a reflection and letting them know, did I understand you right? In the Western world, they say it a lot as to, the way I understood it is this. Is that what you really mean? So we don't do much about that here. So going back to those things, diagnostic assessment, then you feed up. Then feeding up has different forms, right? It could be think, pair, share, and so forth. And then you get feedback in the form of question answer. Question answer could be teacher-led or could be student-led, which is from what we got from that fishbowl, what questions you want to ask to your peers. And they're going to answer. You're going to be silent, you're going to be writing it down, and then you're going to facilitate the process. You're going to say, this is how I looked at it, this is how the author represented it, what Plato did about this, said about this, what Socrates had to say about this. Because your job is your job mostly should be facilitating the learning process. You're under the indoctrinator, okay? So that is the formative assessment, right? So when you get that from them, and then from there, then you, again, after you get the feedback, then you get them feed forward, you tell them as to, as I said, what Plato had to say, the allegory of the cave, okay? Or let's say informal fallacy, begging the question, or, petitio principia, that's what they call. All the formal fallacies, informal fallacies, there are lots of stuff, any kind of philosophical topic. So feed forward is where you're going to fill in the gaps between their understanding of Plato and the way the textbook explained Plato and the way you understand Plato. So sometimes you may even disagree with Plato, and I do sometimes. Sometimes I do. For example, Hardy's book.
Sometimes the teacher might disagree with the textbook. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like Patrick Hardy. Patrick Hardy logic book use করেছো? Concise introduction to logic. So this semester I'm using it. It's 2024 edition. Just came. It's hot off the press. So I'm using it there, and he talks about the modern logic and the Aristotelian logic. He made a distinction between those two. He talks about existential fallacy, where when you say all trespassers will be prosecuted, what does that mean? Aristotle is going to say there must be at least one trespasser. Boolean logic is going to say no. All it means is if there is a trespasser, then she will be in trouble and so forth. So that distinction is made. And then the examples that he used sometimes I disagree with those and I tell him why.
Why you disagree with
exactly. That? Why do you disagree with that? Okay. So I'm not going to
go. All these things are feed forward.
Exactly. Thank you. Feed forward. So, because if you get feedback from them and you don't give them feed forward, they're not going to make any progress. If you tell a student that I'm about to gag, as a matter of fact, I had a graduate student who was doing his PhD, my roommate, my office mate, white guy, he was born and raised in the United States. One time he was walking into the office with a paper in his hand in tears. David McGraw, his name, he's a PhD, and so he wrote some books too. David, what happened? He showed me the paper. I looked at the whole paper, nothing there. At the end, there is a comment, I'm about to gag.
I'm about to?
Gag, G-A-G. That means আমার বমি করতে, তোমার পেপারটা পড়লাম তো, এখন আমার বমি করতে ইচ্ছা হচ্ছে। তার মানে বুঝতে পারছো how bad this is? So he failed, that means, right? Is there any feed forward there? Does it tell why he's gagging? Does it tell inside the paper as to which part of it he was not on track or what it is? That means the feed forward was not given. The feedback was given, which is, yeah, আমি পড়িয়েছি তুমি এটা আমাকে বলছো, yeah, তোমার ফিডব্যাকটা আমি যে তোমার ফিডব্যাকের উপরে যে কমেন্টটা দিলাম যে আমার বমি করতে ইচ্ছা হচ্ছে তোমার এটা পড়ে, তখন আমাকে বললো যে I wish. His name is Lawrence Lombard, the professor's name. He wrote big time professor. His PhD was from Stanford. So these are the kind of people, they don't give feed forward. So it's not just only in Bangladesh.
I wish.
No, it says I am about to gag.
No. তিনি যে বললেন যে আপনার ওই যে যার অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে লাগেন তিনি আপনাকে বললেন যে I wish যে
I wish he gave me his comments on where I made mistakes.
Yeah.
Because you just say আমি তোমার পড়ালেখা তোমার লেখা দেখে আমার বমি করতে ইচ্ছা হচ্ছে, তোমার বমিটা কেন আসছে বলো, তাই না? Because sometimes it could be a syntactical issue, sometimes semantic issue, sometimes introduction, sometimes conclusion, sometimes not having a logical progression in your thoughts, right?
About the assessment system.
Yeah.
Diagnostic,
and then formative, and then summative. Summative is what you do mostly, right?
We're talking about four assessments.
Oh, internal assessment. Okay. Thank you. So okay, thank you. Formative assessment, as I said, every segment of your teaching, every 15-20 minutes of your segment, you do formative assessment. Because people think formative assessment is a quiz. No, it's not. Formative assessment is in an hour, you do it several times. Because people forget after 60 minutes what they learned 59 minutes ago. But if you do it every 10 minutes, put them in small groups, get feedback from them, right? So my time is what? I give you the direction. Say pair up and do this. And then in 3-4 minutes, you bring them back. So now it's going to be our time as a class. So putting this together, when you give them an assessment of how much they learned, that is called formative assessment, right? Because every 10-15 minutes you are doing it. Internal assessment is the one. Weekly quiz, some people do it weekly, some people do it 2 weekly. It's not like a midterm or anything like that. That's called internal assessment. That's between formative assessment and summative assessment, you do those assessments. Because formative assessment...
So this is something in between formative and summative.
Exactly. A lot of times people think formative assessment is like midterm exam. No, it's not. Formative assessment cannot wait for 2 months or 1 month. Formative assessment cannot wait more than 20 minutes. You have to continue to activate the brain.
What about in our university? We take, right now we are taking exams in different groups.
I know, I saw that. I went to the
summative assessment. Just at the end of the year, we take written exams for, I suppose, 4 hours with 4 credits, 100 marks. So, আমরা স্যার এটাকে সামেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট বলতে পারি। এটার পরিবর্তে স্যার আমরা যদি স্যার একটা অ্যাসেসমেন্ট সিস্টেমে যাই, এটাকে গ্রসলি আমরা একটা ফরম্যাটিভ সিস্টেম বলতে পারি স্যার।
ওকে,
আমরা স্যার এই পুরো মার্কসটাকে ছোট ছোট সেগমেন্টে ভাগ করলাম এবং যতদিন সেমিস্টার চলবে ততদিন পর্যন্ত অ্যাসেসমেন্টটা চলবে। সেমিস্টারের শেষের দিকে আমরা টোটাল মার্কসের একটা অংশ 40% সাপোজ সেটা
Yeah, you could do that, but then
পরীক্ষা দিতে পারি।
Yeah.
আমার কোশ্চেনটা হচ্ছে যে এই সামেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্টের পরিবর্তে আমরা যদি
ইন্টারাম অ্যাসেসমেন্ট
ফর লার্নিং যেটাকে বলা হয়,
yeah,
এইটা কি আমরা কি ফরমেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট বলবো?
Interim assessment. Okay, yeah. Why? Let me explain why. Diagnostic assessment you understand fully.
Yeah.
Okay. After diagnostic assessment, you feed up. Then, before you get feedback officially, which is formative assessment, you can have those fragments, small fragments, right? 10 minutes of teaching or 10 minutes of group discussion.
Within a class hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Class time.
Yeah, within class time there should be several.
Suppose, sir, I have taken classes for 1 month with them. Suppose. So after 1 month or 2 months maximum, can I take a exam?
That will be interim assessment. Yeah, because once again.
And then again interim.
Yes. No. Between formative assessment and summative assessment, you have that interim assessment. Because formative assessment is a continuing process. You don't wait for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to do formative. Formative assessment is a very continuous process. Every segment of your teaching, let's say you do just, argument against the person or, red herring, those informal fallacies. Yeah. And then you ask them as to who understood it and what, come up with your own example. Give them 1 minute. You come up with your example of, argument against the person, you do this and so forth. And then they're going to each do it. In 2 minutes, you're going to be able to find out as to how many of your students understood what happened. So then you will have an opportunity to do reteaching.
In your talk right now, is that this is the very first time in my life. I never thought about it. I thought that teaching is one thing and, assessment is another thing. But teaching is the integral part of assessment.
Thank you.
আমার বড় বোন স্যার এখানে শাসাগণিতে একটা স্কুলে শিক্ষকতা করতেন। উনি কিন্তু আপনার এগুলো স্যার কোনো ট্রেনিং ছাড়াই, মানে ওনার ন্যাচারাল থেকে উনি আমাকে সবসময় বলার চেষ্টা করতেন এই কথাটা, তোমার ক্লাসের স্টুডেন্টকে তুমি 3 ভাগ করবা। In my early teaching life, I was a very good teacher only for the high level students. Mid মানে স্কলার এবং যারা লো লেভেল তারা মনে করতো they are in some warfare. Some bomb is blasting there, firing is there. তারা আহত হচ্ছে না, মারাও যাচ্ছে না, তারা কিছু বুঝতেও পারতেছে না ঘটনা কোন দিকে থেকে করাচ্ছে। I never bothered for the mediocre students. কিন্তু আমার বড় বড় আমাকে সবসময় বলতো, উনি রিটায়ার করেছেন প্রায় 5-7 বছর আলোচনা করতো। উনি সবসময় বলতেন না তোমার একটা ঠিক না, তুমি ক্লাসের মধ্যে স্টুডেন্টগুলোকে ভাগ করবা তাদের পারফরমেন্স অনুসারে এবং তাদের জন্য তুমি কিছু
Wow, that's great. Yeah, actually your focus should be.
Start for 32 years.
So your sister, what she is saying is that if you have 25 students in the classroom, make sure you don't teach only 24. You teach all 25. All 25. How do you do that? You put them in, as I said, small groups. Small groups. Think that. I know. Marshall. তোমার ডিউটি শেষ না চা ব্রেক?
না স্যার, আমার লাঞ্চের টাইম।
Good. So, তোমার সিস্টার যেটা বলেছেন, she is talking about from formative assessment to interim assessment. ওই দুটো জিনিস উনি কভার করেছেন ওনার কথায়। So if everybody follows that,
আমরা কি স্যার শেষে গিয়ে কি স্যার একটা সামেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্ট করব?
Of course, ওটা তো করতেই হবে তোমাকে। কেন করতে হবে? কারণ আলটিমেটলি
স্যার আমরা বছরের শেষে বসিয়ে যে ব্রড কোশ্চেন শর্ট কোশ্চেন মিলে যে মানে লিখিত পরীক্ষাটা নিয়ে এটা কাইন্ড অফ সামেটিভ।
Oh no, you have to have that. Why? Because ultimately you need to know are they 4.0 or 3.0. You don't make that decision every day. But formative assessment you do not just every day, but every segment of your teaching. Summative assessment is everywhere and it's needed everywhere. You have to keep that.
But only summative assessment,
yeah,
what's going on?
It's not going to do it. No, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. আমাদের সময় যেটা হতো সারা বছর পরে একটা ফাইনাল এক্সাম হলো, প্রত্যেক ফাইনাল এক্সামের আগে আমার 100 ডিগ্রি জ্বর হতো আমার এরকম। কারণ এখন ওর মেয়ে কলেজে পরীক্ষা দিয়েছিল, কি হাজি মহসিন কলেজ না কি তোমাদের, ওই কলেজে ও পরীক্ষাতে আমি ওকে বললাম যে ভাই তোমার দেখি তো মাথায় হাত দিয়ে মাথাটা গরম হয়ে যাবে। হোয়াট ইউ মিন? আমি বললাম যে আমার প্রত্যেক ওই বড় পরীক্ষার আগে 100 ডিগ্রি জ্বর হতো। কারণ মাথার মধ্যে অত জিনিস জমানো একটা সহজ ব্যাপার না কিন্তু।
আর তাছাড়া স্যার সবাই তো স্যার মেমোরাইজেশন এবং তার রাইটিং স্কিল তো সমান না। এক্স্যাক্টলি এবং আমি if I don't understand something I don't want to memorize it with that much. আমাদের যে ভাইবা আমরা নেই বর্তমানে, আপনিও স্যার এক সময় করেছেন, এটা কি স্যার আমাদের সামেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্টের অংশ না ফরমেটিভ অ্যাসেসমেন্টের অংশ?
ভাইবা তো বাংলাদেশে যে সিস্টেমটা চলছে এটা ফর্মেটিভের কিছুই নাই এর মধ্যে, ইটস অল সামেটিভ। তুমি এটার উপর একটা গ্রেড দিচ্ছ, যখনই তুমি ওদেরকে গ্রেড দিয়ে ছেড়ে দিচ্ছ তার মানে সামেটিভ, সোজা কথা। তারপরে আর তোমার সাথে আমার দেখা হচ্ছে।
তাহলে স্যার মূল জিনিসটা দুইটা, assessment for learning or assessment for
exactly
learning.
yeah
সেই হিসেবে স্যার মূল সিস্টেম দুইটা, ফরমেটিভ ভার্সাস সামেটিভ।
assessment for learning should be both formative and interim.